So I had been invited to be part of the Trump Miami town hall in October while the candidates were running for office and campaigning. And I was chosen to ask former President Trump my question about DACA, because immigration, I'm a passionate proponent of immigration, being the granddaughter of immigrants. I was very concerned that the former president was going to cut the Dreamers program. So that was my question for the town hall. I was the last person chosen to ask before the town hall completed. I was nervous, I was stressed. The atmosphere at the venue was very tense, somewhat acrimonious. So I'm called to the microphone to ask the president my question. And he looked at me, as he did all the other people asking questions, I must say, with this gracious 1,000 trillion watt smile. And you never really see that former President Trump smile. It took me by surprise. So after I said, "Good evening, Mr. President," I hadn't prepared to say anything else other than to delve right into my question. And what popped out of my mouth was, "I gotta say, Mr. President, you have a great smile." And to my amazement, people started to applaud. And then what popped out of my mouth was, "You're so handsome when you smile." Okay. The next day, my son called me up to tell me, "Mom, you have gone viral. You have hundreds of thousands of tweets and comments and posts on social media. Do you realize that?" I had no idea. So the whole situation was extremely unexpected, and I'm very happy to have faded back into obscurity.
Wow, it's such an amazing story. How you became famous within overnight with that situation.
And the bizarre thing is, or not bizarre, I was not a supporter of Mr. Trump. I did not vote for him. And people thought that was a weird juxtaposition. How could that be? Then that means your compliment couldn't have been sincere. Well, it was. And my message is, isn't it tragic that kindness has been lost, that we're expected to be unkind to those with whom we disagree? And my second part of the message is that being able to pay a sincere, genuine compliment to someone with whom you have philosophical or political differences should not be mutually exclusive. So that's my takeaway from all the hullabaloo. And that experience triggered me to add, when I was revising the book, I had originally written "Did You Say Something, Susan?" about 20 years ago. And many of the examples were out of date. Many of the resources and references were rather old. But the content isn't old, it's timeless. So as I was revising and modernizing and rewriting the book, I realized I should include a chapter on paying compliments, because what people don't realize is paying compliments is a highly assertive act. And too few of us do that for any number of reasons. We don't feel confident in ourselves, therefore maybe we feel that someone else won't appreciate our compliment, or why should they believe anything coming from us? But that's within our own minds. And paying compliments is a highly assertive way to express yourself and start to gain confidence as well, Ivna.
No, absolutely. And you actually have a story in your book where you talk about the opposite of that, which is receiving compliments. The first time that you learned that, your professor showed you the importance of receiving compliments well, because you weren't doing that before as a young student. So I'd love to hear that story.
Oh, thank you. That's a great story. I was a college student at Queens College in New York City. I had made a presentation in a psychology class in one of these large auditoriums with 400 students in a class. And the professor said to me, "That was an excellent presentation, Paulette." Miss Wayne was my maiden name. He was very formal. And I sort of mumbled and said, "Well, it wasn't as good as some of the others." And he yelled, "Stop, stop right there." And I thought, oh God, now what? And he said, "Do you realize what you just did?" And no, Dr. Reynolds, I really don't realize what I just did. He said, "I just paid you a compliment and you took it, threw it on the floor and stomped on it." And I said, "Oh." And he said, "Next time someone pays you a compliment, you look them in the eye, you smile, and you say, 'Thank you very much. I appreciate that.'"
That's that's a good moment, a good time, and a good way to learn that lesson.
That's right. So when we diminish someone's compliment, if someone compliments you and you respond, "Oh, you like my haircut? Oh, it makes my nose look too big." Or, "This dress? Oh, I think it makes me look fat." You're really diminishing the person's opinion. You're telling them they don't know what they're talking about. So when somebody pays you a compliment, accept it graciously. I know it's not always easy, but you can do it. Smile and say, "Thank you."
Yeah, I think it's just a question of gaining that habit. But once people shift their perspective from, "Oh, I'm not good, I don't deserve this," or whatever, to "This is a gift."
Yes.
And as such, like you write as well, this is a gift. And as a gift, I need to receive it as if they were giving me something physical. Like, you're not going to say, "Oh, this is not, I don't deserve this. Don't give it to me." I mean,
Exactly.
accept it graciously. So I love that.
I'm glad. And one of my favorite quotes of all time is Mark Twain's quote. He says, "I can live on a good compliment for 2 weeks with nothing else to eat." So we increase someone's joy when we are assertive enough to show gratitude or to give praise or to pay a compliment. We elevate the other person's mood and attitude, and we also elevate our own by virtue of the fact we see how happy it's made someone else. So there's so many benefits to being